Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome to the Video Gamers Podcast. I am your host, John, and joining me is the only person whose favorite game you've definitely never heard of is my co-host, Ace.
Hey man, everyone's gonna know about Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist by the time I'm done on this show.
Bro, I gotta tell you, man, listening to the indie episodes is like such a treat for me, man. I've picked up, actually, it's kind of a double-edged sword, dude. I've picked up more games than I know what to do with at this point, but I love it, bro. I love it, man. Like, where you find these games is like, just, it's like magic to me.
Hey, it's a good problem to have as a big backlog, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Dear listeners, you've had so much time to get to know our hosts, Josh and Ryan. Their interests, their pet peeves, and what gets them excited about gaming. Ace and I, well, we're the new kids on the block. And while we are so incredibly flattered with the reception that we've received from the awesome community so far, we wanted to give you the chance to get to know us a little better. So, we opened up an AMA Ask Me Anything on our Discord, which, by the way, BTW, if you aren't in it, please do yourself a favor and join. It's the very best community in gaming. We got a lot of really fun questions, which are hoping might give you some idea as to how Ace and I operate. It certainly gave us a little insight into you, the listeners. But we wanted to go ahead and read some of these. And right out of the gate here, we got a hot one. Gamble asks, keep, trade, cut. Pizza, tacos, and hamburgers.
John, your answers here are going to affect how I see you for the rest of my life. I hope you know.
Well, what do you got?
I was like, let me go first, because I'm just going to come out the gate and say I'm keeping pizza. I'm not getting rid of pizza anytime soon. I guess I'll trade hamburgers, because can I trade them for cheeseburgers?
Ooh, that's a good qualifier, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm cutting tacos. I'm not a big taco guy. It's like,
that's so interesting, man.
Like, I don't know why. I've just never been like super into them. Like, pizzas are super customizable. You can put whatever the heck you want on it. Heck, I put blueberries and bananas on my pizza once because I could, and it tasted perfectly fine. Hamburgers are also
sacrilege. I don't even want to understand what you just said to me. That's terrible, bro.
You afraid a little fruit on pizza?
Oh my God. I am definitely one of those staunch no pineapple on pizza guys. As a matter of fact, my wife and I were just in Italy visiting some family out in the kind of Verona area. And we asked them about pineapple on pizza out there. And they said, this is a quote from my cousin Lucia, by the way. This is why people don't like Americans. So, all
right, I see. So I'm not welcome in Italy, I guess.
That's the official answer. Although we did have AZ Food Guy on the show recently for a bonus episode, and he is a food aficionado, and he gave us the definitive answer of yes, pineapple can belong on a pizza.
There you go. Take it from the pro.
So yeah, so I'll allow it. I think if at any other point in my life you would have asked me to rank those, man, up until probably about 2 years ago, pizza would have been at the top. But I have to say, the same versatility that you find in pizza, I find in tacos, my man.
Oh,
I feel
really?
Like you can do so much with tacos, and they have the benefit of you being able to make them healthy as you want or as unhealthy as you want. Whereas pizza, you're kind of just like, forget about tonight, do better tomorrow.
Hey, I don't know. There's cauliflower crust. That's always an option. If you want healthy pizza.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Have you ever had cauliflower crust, though?
Yeah, it's not great. But
it's not great.
It is there. It is an option.
It is there. Well, I think that's interesting. So our answers are totally different.
Yeah, no, we're complete opposites. So you also would trade hamburgers then?
Well, I got to keep tacos.
Uh-huh.
My trade would be pizza. Is trade above cut, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I would say it's above cut. Cut is getting rid of something entirely. Trade is you trade it for something else.
Yeah, I would go, tacos is my keep. Pizza is my reluctant trade. I always want that in the back pocket. But Hamburgers, nah, I just don't get excited about hamburgers anymore.
You're not a burger man, John?
They're fine.
Oh, man, I can't think of something as good as a nice, juicy hamburger, except for maybe a nice hot pizza, but I blame the Ninja Turtles for that, honestly.
Oh, my God. Now we're on the same page, dude. I have never eaten a pizza that is as delicious as Ninja Turtles pizza looks, though. Like,
No.
that jaded me for life.
No, would never. Like, it looked so good, and it's like nothing will ever live up to the hype of that.
By the thing that I can talk about even more so than video games is food, so this may very well turn into a food episode. Who makes the best fast food burger?
The best fast food burger, in my opinion, it comes from Wendy's, in my opinion. If you're talking about like
Wendy's.
fast food. Not
Wendy's
like,
is a really strong contender. That's my wife's favorite food of all time is our cheeseburgers. And I remember her and I were like just getting some errands tidied up from this move we're finishing up with. And she stopped to get a Wendy's Little Junior cheeseburger. And she took like 2 bites of it and like had to stop and like close her eyes to appreciate it. And she looked at me like with more love than she's ever looked at me in my entire life. And she goes, I love this cheeseburger. So good job, Wendy's.
Yay, Wendy's.
So next question, Ace. Rigo, this is a really good one, man.
Mm-hmm.
Rigo asks, what is the first game you remember pulling an all-nighter on?
So I don't play this game as much as I used to anymore, but when this game came out on the Xbox 360, I remember me and my cousin just cracking out on it all night long, and that game was Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Yeah, the first time it came to a console, which was the Xbox 360, as I said, we picked it up and we played all night, sunrise to sunset. It didn't matter. We didn't even do anything like great. We weren't good at the game. We were just walking around surviving. We tried to build a house out of sand and it fell on top of us.
This might be dating you, but well, how long ago was this?
2013, I think.
What did you do to keep yourself up? Like I'll give you my all-nighter here in a second because it's super obscure, but me and my friend Spud, if you're listening to this, shout out to you, man. I haven't talked to this guy in a really long time. But him and I would literally get like 2 liters of Coke each, and we'd be just like fueled on sugar and caffeine through the night. Did you guys have something similar?
Yeah, something pretty similar. We had a massive bowl of Hershey candy bars, like the little snack size ones. Yeah. And then we had like 12 packs of Mountain Dew, and we just kept pounding those all night long.
That's awesome, dude.
Man, it used to be so easy to stay up like that, but like now I need something a little stronger.
You and I have the opposite problem, Ace. Unfortunately, I'm like plagued with insomnia. I sleep 2 to 3 hours a night, like for months and months at a time, man.
You
and
poor
I
soul.
Often go, what are you gonna do? My game, and this is going to be super obscure. I'm wondering if anybody in this listener community has even heard of this game, but it was a game on Genesis called Herzog Zwei. Have you ever heard of that?
No, you have lost me, sir. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I figured I might lose you. So you've played like real-time strategy games like the original Warcraft or Command and Conquer, that type of thing.
Yes, I'm
pretty sure that Herzog Zwei was the very first real-time strategy game.
Oh wow. Okay.
It was awesome. It still holds up, by the way, man. I mean, there's a lot of those retro games, especially from the 16-bit era, that, man, they're just hard to play now. As much nostalgia as I have for them, they're just really, really hard to play. And this one still holds up, man. I mean, the graphics are blocky or whatever, but the gameplay is fantastic.
All right.
And consequently, this is going to be one of our hidden gems that we talk about in a upcoming episode.
All right, nice. Did it ever get like a remaster or anything?
No.
Oh, it can't be that good. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I know, with a catchy title like Herzog Zwei,
Oh,
who
yeah.
could like
Really rolls off the tongue, huh?
really rolls off the tongue, yeah. It means second general, by the way, in German. I don't know. Somebody's great idea. It was a brilliant game at the time, still holds up. Nobody's ever played it. Well, okay, so on that same note, Josh asks, what's the first game that you can remember playing and enjoying?
Okay. So I'm gonna have to preference this with the fact that I wasn't allowed to play anything over E10 plus until I moved out of my parents' house. So when I turned 18, I jumped ship. Didn't have anywhere to go. I went and lived with my brother. And he had a 360 downstairs with Assassin's Creed 2 already in the tray. So I just went ahead and flipped that on. And just like after I got past that opening sequence where you're Ezio and you're racing your brother up the top of the buildings, and you know he puts his arm around, he's like, "It's a good life we live, brother. It is indeed." And I was like, "Oh, I love this. I'm living this. This is so good." And then spoilers, you get to the part where his whole family gets hung for treason, and you're just like,
Yeah, he just dove right into the deep end there, Ace.
Oh my god. Like I didn't even play Assassin's Creed 1 yet. I just jumped right into 2 and I was just like, this is so good. Where has this been all my life?
So what games were you playing before that then? The question is the first game you can remember really playing and enjoying. So before that, if you were playing like T and under, there must have been something that you were playing and you liked.
I guess the closest thing would have been Minecraft or Terraria at that time, but like I never felt like the same I did as when I first popped in Assassin's Creed. Terraria got close because I played that on the 3DS, which was a very broken port of that game. But no, there was something really special about that first leap of faith and that first, moment within the franchise of Assassin's Creed, the shell of what it is now, I guess.
Yeah, it's tough. The concept still holds up well. I'm hoping Ubisoft pulls something out with this.
Shadows is their last hope, man. I know, like people don't want to hear that, but Shadows is Ubisoft's last leg.
I think that we probably all agree on that. It's rare that all four of us agree on something, but I think we all agree on that. But I would say that if the last leg that they have to stand on is feudal Japan, and you can play a samurai or a ninja, it's a pretty strong leg.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm already like tempted to go back, like, limping back to them like, please take me back.
I totally agree. So
what about you, man?
Regardless, let's see. So I'm kind of in the same boat as you. So I'm a couple generations older, and like my first console was an NES.
Mm-hmm.
And NES came with the Nintendo Duck Hunt cartridge. And, I enjoyed those games. But I don't think I really felt like I really enjoyed a game until maybe Super Mario 2, which is still oddly my favorite of the Super Marios. Maybe Odyssey. I mean, there's a lot of banger.
There's a lot of really good Super Mario games. Super Mario 2 was the one that was like the reskin of Doki Doki Panic, right?
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
It was. Okay,
exactly.
I actually had that on my Game Boy. I used to play it all the time. It was great.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's quirky. It's definitely got the most original sort of aesthetic out of all of the old 8 and 16-bit Marios and stuff. But I like it. It's got a lot of charm. I really enjoyed it. And then I think probably my aha moment, like you had with Assassin's Creed, was Maximum Carnage on the Genesis.
Okay.
I was like a big Marvel fan growing up, still am, and like seeing all my favorite superheroes on screen and being able to play them was like just absolutely crazy.
Oh yeah.
And that was as close to rated M as console games got basically at the time. This is a great question from Patrick. Ace, what happens if you push the button?
I thought long and hard about what might happen if we push the button. And I'm just going to say, maybe if we push the button, Silksong releases.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, maybe. Just maybe.
That might be the only thing that makes Silksong release.
You just gotta find that button wherever it is.
Yeah, that's great, man. I like it. My answer is probably a little jaded. I just got done listening to this book called Nuclear War, a Scenario, that kind of went over like what would actually happen if there was like a nuclear crisis.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, nothing good. I'm basically full Earth cataclysm in a couple hours.
So you're saying it wouldn't be like Fallout?
Have you been watching Paradise?
No, I have not.
Oh, it's a good show. It's on Hulu. I think unless there is some sort of like deep underground bunker that we all don't know about, it's basically like annihilation. It's
okay. Good to know.
So that's a good light moment in the show, I think. Is
yeah.
Thanks for
John wants to push the nuclear button. Everyone.
Oh, I didn't say I want to. Patrick is just saying we have to.
Oh, okay. Is that what you're saying? Okay, I like my answer better. It doesn't.
Well, yeah, we push the button, we get Silksong and the apocalypse.
And no one dies. Hopefully.
Yeah. Let's see. Your favorite Mike asks, what 2 or 3 game genres would you combine for your ideal game?
Oh, this is easy for me. First of all, I've got to start with a Metroidvania. A good Metroidvania is basically, that's like putting a nice hot pizza in front of me. I enjoy Metroidvania just as much. Now you throw in a little bit of a Souls-like element, make it difficult, add some dodge rolling, stamina. Now I'm really happy. Then you make it an RPG. And I'm over the moon, baby. You have made me the perfect game, and I cannot wait to play it.
Yeah, that's a really good blend. That's a really good blend. Do you feel like any games you've played recently have scratched that itch?
Recently, I have not played any Metroidvanias. I guess I'd say the closest. I revisited a indie game called Cookie Cutter recently. Mm-hmm. And they got a big update where they added all the voice acting and stuff like that, because the game had no voice acting or anything like that at the start. So I went back to that and I played through a good bit of it again. And I was like, man, this game is really hard, but really rewarding. So I'd say that's the closest you get for me. It doesn't quite have the RPG element, unfortunately.
Did adding the voice acting really enhance the game for you?
It did, actually. It was really nice to like see not only the voices I initially imagined in my head, but what they actually sound like was very similar. It was just kind of funny.
Interesting. Yeah, that's actually been a barrier of entry for me for the Kingdom Hearts games. Like, I'm a huge Disney fan, huge Square Enix and Squaresoft fan before that. The aesthetic, the visuals, the concept of the game, I love them, but man, I just can't read all that text, dude. Like I need voice acting in my games.
Oh man, I love Kingdom Hearts. I have a Kingdom Hearts tattoo. I love Kingdom Hearts to death.
What do you have, a Keyblade?
No, actually, I have a Claymore from one of the members of Organization 13,
Dope.
And my spouse has the chakrams from the other members.
Very cool.
It was our anniversary tattoo. It was really cool. Nice thing we did. We both love Kingdom Hearts, man.
So what's the good, what would be the best entry point
2.
if I were to start?
2? Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah, I'd say that's the easiest way to get in. You might miss a little bit of the story, but Kingdom Hearts 1 basically gets retconned anyway into what the story goes on to be. And if you ask anyone, they'll tell you Kingdom Hearts probably has the most complicated lore of any game in existence. Especially when you find out like Donald Duck can cast the most powerful spell in all of Final Fantasy, and you're just like, what?
That's awesome.
You look it up on the wiki, and it's like the only 2 people who've cast this spell was Bahamut, God of Death, and Donald Duck.
I believe it. Speaking, little bit of a segue here, but isn't it interesting in the Disney like Mickey and Friends cartoons that they always give Goofy like the most complicated jobs? Like anytime they call for a pilot or a like a doctor or something, it's always Goofy who has that job.
Yeah, he's the knight with the shield in Kingdom Hearts. He also dies for a little bit in one game.
Goofy does?
Yeah, he gets hit with a rock and dies for a chapter and comes back. They think he's dead, but he just got hit with a rock. He's fine. It's really funny, though, because Mickey gets all serious about it. He's like, they'll pay for this. He goes charging off into a crowd.
There's some unexpected dark turns in this episode. To get back to the question, what 2 or 3 game genres would you combine for your ideal game? That's really tough, man. I think it would I'd probably have to echo you. For me, getting a good Metroidvania with some RPG elements in it is probably the way to go. I do not like Souls-likes, so I probably would omit that part. But maybe, honestly, for me, like maybe a cozy element to it or something.
Okay,
like some sort
so
of...
the opposite of a Souls-like.
yeah, and that's exactly where I'm at. Dude, I'm playing Prince of Persia right now, and I almost rage quit. I can't believe I almost rage quit Prince of Persia, bro.
That hard, huh?
Oh, have you played it?
No, I've still got to get to it, man. I picked it up. I haven't played it yet, though.
Yeah, for a Metroidvania, I mean, it's top class, but there are some absurdly, for me anyways, absurdly hard bosses in it. I was absolutely shocked at the difficulty of some of the bosses in it.
Oh, all right.
Amazing platforming, though.
Oh, I've heard it's an amazing game.
It is, dude. I mean, the number of different control dynamics that they put in that game is just amazing. Let's see. Morgau asks, until now, what game were you too embarrassed to admit that you enjoyed?
This is a bit recent. I picked up a little game called Web Fishing, which is it's a cozy little fishing chat room style game, and everything's kind of like it's like a pixelated Animal Crossing almost. It's 3D environments and stuff like that, and the fish you catch are 2D. And my friends picked it up ages ago, and I always saw them playing it online. I was like, that's such a boring game. Why do you want to just stand around and talk to each other while you fish? And now I find myself online talking to myself fishing. Because I missed the boat. But I love just to log on, and if I'm just need some peace and quiet to myself, I'll put a YouTube video on my second monitor, and then I'll just start fishing. And I was like, this is nice. I like this.
And just zone out. Yeah.
It's totally not my style game, but I fell in love with it for some reason. What about you?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that what you just described there is kind of like the magic of gaming. I don't remember who it was recently on the show that said, I think it was Ian actually with Make-A-Wish, when he was saying, like, look, you don't have to be a gamer. Not everyone's going to be a gamer, but whoever you are, there's a game out there for you.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Like cozy games, for instance, for me, fill that niche. You know, if I'm like, I don't need to barrel through something. I don't need to die 100 times on a boss. I don't need to save the world, man. Like sometimes for me, my embarrassing games are probably like the Lego games. I absolutely love the Lego games, man.
Those were the ones I used to play a long time ago, and I really got into some of those. Some of those were great.
Did you have a favorite?
I really liked the Indiana Jones one. I thought it was really cool. The first one. I never played the second Lego Indiana Jones where they included the Crystal Skull, but the first one with the actual movies, like that one was good.
There was a DC superheroes one that came out probably, it's probably been 10 years ago at this point, 9-10 years ago at this point. But man, it's so good. The first time I got my little Lego Superman and you hear the John Williams theme,
I've always loved those little like details they put into them, because they have Marvel games where you can unlock Stan Lee, and then like he would be able to turn into the Hulk and also web swing and have Captain America's shield. And then
yes, they nail it.
It's so cool. All the cool things they were able to include.
It's just simple, joyous fun. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, I don't know that I would say.
We can't go on a Lego tangent. We'll be here for hours.
Are you a Lego guy?
I am. I love Legos. Yeah, I don't have any displayed right now because I don't have any room. But if I did, I'd have quite a bit. My favorite being the Sonic Green Hill Zone.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I'm a Star Wars Lego guy, and I actually just like the city stuff too, man. Just the kind of like old school, like dude in a boat or in a spaceship kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Those are cool. If I could have any dream job, like playing with Legos professionally, might be it.
Architect.
Yeah, there you go. Lego architect. I love it. Let's see. If you could morph into only one animal at will, which animal would you choose and why?
All right.
That's from Style and Steve, by the way.
Yeah, that's from our buddy Style and Steve. Love you, brother. My One Piece brother out there. People will judge me for this because there is no reason to be this animal. It has no like benefit, but I love kiwi birds, which is the national bird of New Zealand for people who don't know. If you looked at them, you would not think it's a bird because it is a fluffy beaked, long-legged creature that doesn't even appear to have wings. But I love them to death, and I would love nothing more than to be able to turn into one.
I've seen them. They are adorable, bro.
Man, they're so good. Like, oh my God.
You actually turned me on. My wife and I were between Mario Party games, and I asked you for a recommendation just for like, kind of a fun little easy to pick up party game. And I think you gave me a recommendation for Kiwi.
Oh yeah, Kiwi.
Yeah, Kiwi. It's a great little game, man.
Yeah, you get to run a little post office as Kiwis. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. The color hard. And it gets hard for sure.
It's hard, but I loved it.
Yeah, it got hard, but it was a fun little game for Sarah and I to play. If I had to choose my animal, man, that's an interesting one. I'd probably have to say something cool like a orca or something like that.
Okay, I got you.
They're real social and they're also apex predators. Like kiwi's cool, man, but I'm getting stepped on as a kiwi. Like
well, kiwis don't have any natural predators. They're where they live. They're
what?
Yeah, they're completely safe where they live. The only thing that bothers them are people.
That can't be true. There's no predators.
I don't think anything hunts the kiwis.
Are there like no land carnivores in New Zealand?
I would have to look it up. I'm not sure.
That is really interesting. Yeah. I mean, in Hawaii, for instance, the largest carnivore is a house cat.
Oh yeah. I remember hearing that from my brother actually, because he was stationed there for a while.
Interesting. I never thought about it. Well, if that's the case, man, Kiwi's got it good.
Kiwi's got it pretty good. I'm glad I didn't go with my second pick, which was Puffin, because then you'd be eating me.
Yeah, probably. The delicious little morsel.
I like birds, if you can't tell, audience. I love birds.
Very cool. People Wonder asks, if you had the creative ability to create any one thing, what would it be?
Okay.
And he says, be specific, describe that which you would like to bring to life.
It's not the most creative thing. I'm sure someone's drawn it in a TV show or done it in a game. But I've always just like wanted an old-timey gold pocket watch that I could like stop time with or like reverse time with. Just because like that's always been something I thought would be so nice to have. Just like, I really screwed that up. I'd like to go back that 15 seconds or whatever and redo that.
That's a good one. That's a good one. There's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, like I know it's not the most creative thing to want, but like I really would love to be able to stop time every now and then.
Well, and I think you could be incredibly creative with it, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a great choice.
What is your brain cooked up for us?
For me, and there's a function to this, but it would have to be something like RoboCop level cybernetics.
Oh, okay.
And it's mostly just because I'm 43 years old and I have bad spinal arthritis that I just can't wait to get out of this freaking body.
I gotcha.
But dude, did you see the newer RoboCop movie that came out? It was like it was like he had like black armor. It looked super cool.
I saw that. Yeah.
So there's this scene in RoboCop where the Murphy, the cop, is that's the cop's name, right? Anyway,
yeah. I think so.
The cop who turns into RoboCop recognizes that, a lot of him is gone, and he talks to the doctor or whatever in charge, and he says, "Show me." And he goes, "I really don't recommend it. You're not going to like what you see. You can't unsee it." And he goes, "Show me. I want to see what's left." And there's this whole like scene where they the armor strips off and like piece by piece, you see the robotics go away and you see how little of him is left. And basically it's just his like his head, his spine, and his like lungs.
Ooh.
And you see this look of abject terror come over his face where he's like, never show that to me again. And in that moment, I was like, I want that so bad. I would give anything for it. Like, that is like my nirvana right there. Like, get all of this weak little fleshy stuff off of me, put me in the machine, man, and forget about me, bro. I would be so stoked if that was me.
Oh, John, you belong in the cyberpunk universe.
Maybe, man. Maybe, dude. The idea of just being able to go like arms broken, new arm, like, bro.
Hey, plus, you know, bonus if you go to the cyberpunk route, you also get like the mantis blades in the wrists and all that.
Very true. Very true.
Those things are awesome.
It is super awesome. And a little plug for a game that we learned more about recently, Graft.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a survival horror, but like, man, that's almost a cozy game for me. Like, oh, I get to like
you worry
pull
me,
myself
John.
apart.
You worry me greatly with what you find comfortable.
Let's see. Westside Pancake says you can take one character and put them in a different game. Who are you choosing?
I want to take Kirby and put him in Astrobot. I just think he'd belong there.
Oh, good answer, dude.
I feel like he belongs there. Like that, he could be happy there. No one would really be able to bother him.
Oh man.
And I love
Sony,
Kirby.
Nintendo. Who doesn't love Kirby?
I think Josh
Who doesn't love
hates him.
Astrobot? What?
Yeah, I think Josh hates Kirby. I'm pretty sure, but
how can you hate Kirby?
It's too easy.
Well, okay.
Yeah, he hates Kirby because his games are too easy. He doesn't know Kirby.
Fair enough.
He doesn't know Kirby like we do.
Yeah, that given his his taste for games and stuff, I could see that, man.
Yeah.
He plays for the challenge. I don't know that he plays for the for the fun of it.
Mm.
I could see him getting pretty bored with it, but mine, oh gosh, man. It's tough because they kind of already did it. Like I would have wanted. I'm again big into superheroes, and I would have wanted Spawn in a fighting game, and they.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
Yeah, with Soul Calibur.
Did that happen in Injustice as well?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no,
not that was
Injustice.
Hellboy.
Yeah, because no, I think Hellboy is Mortal Kombat.
No, Hellboy got to do Injustice 2, along with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, audience. Yeah. Tangent.
No, I think I'd probably have to do. I'd probably have to do Dr. Manhattan in. I like fighting games. It's probably I'd have to do Dr. Manhattan and all the Watchmen in like a Marvel vs. Capcom sort of.
Oh, that would be cool. Game. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I love those games, man. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is like one of my all-time favorite games.
Mm-hmm.
And Watchmen is like my favorite fictional anything ever. So if I could blend them and put them in one game, that's a win.
Well, shout out to our buddy and editor Gregosaurus. I know for a fact that playing as a superhero in a fighting game is awesome because I got to play as Omni-Man when we played Mortal Kombat 1 together.
Nice.
And that was the only character I got like slightly close to beating him with.
Oh, is he like...
He wiped the floor with me, man. He absolutely demolished me.
That checks. Who is his main?
He's played any character. He didn't have a main. He just... any character he picked, he could beat me with. It did not matter.
Don't you hate that, man? It's just like rubbing it in.
It was rough. A lot of fatalities.
Yeah, awesome. Ace, Logan0188 asks, what is your favorite game that you never finished?
You might have heard of this one. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with the Oddworld franchise?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I love them.
So the my favorite game from that franchise is Stranger's Wrath, which is the one where you are a bounty hunter.
Old West, yeah.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
He talks like,
game.
Gotta get to town and bag that pack rat palooka. That's like,
yeah,
I love that game to death, and I've never finished it because it's actually a really hard game to play on modern consoles. Just because
why is that?
The camera The camera fights you the whole time. It is because I played it on Steam a while back, and I couldn't get the controller to connect, and playing it on mouse and keyboard was a no. It was not going to happen. Then when I finally got the controller fixed, because I went to Reddit and found out like a little solution or whatever, the camera fought me till like I got like a 2/3 through the game, and I was like, I can't do it anymore. I'm getting one shot. But I absolutely love everything about that game. I love the world. I love the fact you have to gather your ammo yourself, and that you can upgrade it to be more effective or less lethal. That way you can get the stun on the enemy and bag them alive and get way more money for it.
What was that? PS3 generation?
Yeah, PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that was a great game, man, and it's interesting. There's surprising depth in some of those games a few generations ago. I mean, you haven't seen, or at least I haven't seen, like the quantum leap in game mechanics from the last couple of generations as you saw from like PS1 to PS3. It's like, it's an altogether different industry when you go PS1 to PS3. PS3, there's still a lot of solid stuff, man. I mean, I guess the fact that you've been able to put The Last of Us out on several different,
yeah, you're not wrong.
generations of game and have it still hold up is kind of a testament to that. My favorite, I don't know that I would qualify this as my favorite game, but it's definitely the one that I feel like I most need to finish is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Never started it.
You never started it?
Nope.
I mean, it is like the consensus.
I know. I hear it from Ryan every time. It's like, it's the best game, man. You gotta play it. It's like, I don't like it. I don't care.
I played the first maybe 8 to 10 hours of it, and I really enjoyed it. And then I just got distracted with other life stuff. And it was really hard to come back to. I think they talk about it a lot on the show, but the opening sequence of the game is really, really slow.
Yeah.
And the idea of having to go, because I'd like basically forgotten how to play the game at this point, and like the idea of having to go back and slog through that opening part again is.
And it's a Rockstar game, so the controls are already like
janky.
I hate this. I have to spam B to run.
Were you ever a Grand Theft Auto person?
No, I was not allowed to play Grand Theft Auto when I was younger, and I just never grew into it once I got past that point, because I was just like, I watched so many people on YouTube play it, I didn't care about it anymore, unfortunately. Sacrilege as it is, I prefer Watch Dogs.
Interesting.
I really like Watch Dogs.
Interesting. That's interesting. I think had I not been in the Navy, I probably would have never gotten into Grand Theft Auto. It was just everybody was playing it, and it was hard to like not be into it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of like the Rockstar engine or whatever, how they design their games. But I mean, you can't deny that Grand Theft Auto is a masterclass in game.
I don't deny how
design.
Good it is for everyone around. Just like I don't deny that people love Red Dead. It's just I know it's not for me, because I know as soon as I pick it up, those Rockstar controls will get to me, and I'll just be like, I hate how this controls so much.
Yeah,
it's not intuitive.
That is fair. Ian at Make-A-Wish agrees with you too.
Yeah, I was super happy to hear that. I was like, thank you, someone with some sense.
Yeah, that was a good call out there. What do you think Spoons asks, what is your video game blind spot? It could be a genre, a major series.
My blind spot, I would say, well, if we're talking about major series, it's Metal Gear Solid, which I want to correct that eventually. I would like to correct the fact I've not played a Metal Gear Solid game aside from like the opening bit of Metal Gear Revengeance.
Dude, they're so good.
I know, and I saw like the collection on Steam where like they remade or remastered the first like 2-3 games. I was like, I really should do that before the 4th remake comes out.
Oh, yeah. I think you're in luck. If you actually want to, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to. And then if we're talking genre, I would say like cozy sim games. I'm not super like aware of and super into, so I lose a lot of the like news like that. Like people tell me about indie games coming out. It's like, oh, it's just like Stardew Valley. I was like, but you have Stardew Valley. Why do you want another Stardew Valley?
Yeah, right. You got this filet mignon in front of you, but have you seen this London broil? Like, no, get that out of here. I already got the filet.
Exactly.
Back to food, of course. For me, I've got a couple, but they're both genres. It would be the sort of Marvel Rivals / Overwatch style. What would you call that style?
That's a hero shooter.
Hero shooter.
Yep.
Dude, I get smushed at those games, man. I've absolutely smushed.
Rivals was the first one I've actually like really played and it's clicked for me. Every other one I've tried to pick up, like Team Fortress 2, even Overwatch 2 for a little bit there, I got crushed immediately. I don't know what it is with Rivals.
How long did it take you to like feel really comfortable with it?
With Rivals? Like, I would say like 2 or 3 4-hour play sessions, and I was like really comfortable. Man, especially playing with Josh and everyone else. It was like the part of it was just being there for the experience. And I play a healer.
That I will give you. I mean, I did one community night with the group,
mm-hmm.
and just being there to listen to everybody, talk to each other. And again, plug for the Discord community. It's the best community.
Oh, the absolute chaos. You got to be there.
Yeah, it is pure chaos, but what fun to listen to, very difficult for Johnny to play. I probably played what you just said, 4 or 5 hour-long sessions, and dude, it has never gotten past pandemonium for me. Like, I can't sort out what's going on. Like, I'm Punisher, and I just sit there, and hopefully I'm shooting in a direction. I hear a little ting once in a while, and I die probably like 3 times as often as I kill, and that sucks. That's no good for me.
That's fair. I play support, so I guess I have the easy way out.
Fair. I couldn't even tell you the difference, man. I try to kill with all of them and I die with all of them. So it's the exact opposite result that I'm going for. Let's see. I don't have the author of this one. I must have deleted that on accident, but asked John Tassicon, when will you build a gaming PC? And I'm really struggling with this one. You're primarily a PC player, right?
Yes, I am primarily on PC nowadays. I do have other consoles, so I'm flexible, but I mostly do everything on my PC nowadays. It's easier to capture recording footage and things like that, so it's just like better for me.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like logically, I can recognize that anything a console does, a computer can do better and can
plus some add-ons
to do better.
Yeah.
But I don't know what, there's just something about the keyboard and mouse to play a game that's not attractive to me. And I know that you can play most computer games on a controller, but I'm like, I got consoles I think it's just the old school gamer in me, man. There's something about having like the dedicated console that is attractive to me.
I get that.
So
I get not wanting to give up the old brick and mortar, basically.
Well, and there's just kind of like a whole vibe with it. I think there's like, do you collect records, or do you know anyone who collects records?
I have an aunt who does.
Like vinyl? Yeah, I mean, like, it's like a clearly dead technology, but there's just something endearing about it. If you grew up with it, there's like, I don't know.
You'll have to evolve someday, John. We'll be here waiting with open arms. The PC Master Race.
Yeah, maybe when we push the button and Silksong.
Yeah, maybe that's what'll happen. We push the button and you build a PC like just like a Lego game. Just
yeah, you're tickling something for me, man. The Lego thing, that could be it. If they make Lego PCs, I could maybe get behind that. Let's see. And then also asks, what video game world would you love to visit? This is for both of us.
Oh, this was easy for me. I'd love to visit the world of Super Mario Sunshine. Isle Delfino or whatever. Heck yeah. It's a freaking island shaped like a dolphin. Of course I want to go there.
Yeah, it just oozes happiness.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of bad stuff happening, but you can just go to the beach and pretend you don't see Mario being framed for crimes he didn't commit.
Yeah. I hear you. For me, it's got to be Final Fantasy X.
Oh, that's a good pick too. Even though sin will destroy the world.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, oh wait,
but it'll look really pretty up until that point.
Would you try to pull off the eject shot?
No, man. I blitzballed very, very little in.
That was my least favorite part of the whole game. I hated it.
Yeah, with a lot of the Final Fantasies, the mini games work out pretty well. Like it worked out remarkably well in 8, for instance. 10, I didn't. Blitzball was not.
It lost me so fast. I was like, I have no idea.
That's the only part of the game that I was like itching to get through. Okay, let's move this along. But I remember that was kind of like the beginning of my renaissance with video gaming, where I was like, oh my God, I want to live this. Like this, I can't put this down. I want to explore every nook and cranny of this world. And, just absolutely fell in love with it.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick. It's a beautiful world that they lived in.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Blueberry Tie asks, what's your go-to LAN party game if you could take any modern game back to the LAN party days? So
why don't you explain to me what a LAN party is, John? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
Imagine a world where you had to bring your computer or console over to a friend's house, and you have a couple other buddies do the same thing, and you actually have to physically connect all of the machines to each other to be able to play.
Yeah, that sounds like a real pain in my butt. I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm just going to go to my Steam friends list and, invite to game instead. I think that sounds a little better to me.
This is just one of those things for like perspective. Like when LAN parties came out for me, it was magic. Like I was so grateful to have it. But I can imagine that somebody who grew up like, man, I could just play with any of my friends literally anytime, anywhere. It would feel like such an inconvenience. Well, let's alter this a bit for you. What's your go-to co-op community game?
Well, currently it's Marvel Rivals. That is my current go-to. That's usually what I'll be like, hey, I'm playing this. Anyone want to join? And if you're saying if Marvel Rivals was like a physical game that people had to meet up to play in order to play it as it is now, I would 100% go through the effort to do that because I love that game so much.
It's interesting, man. I actually think that game would be a really fun LAN party game. Like, can you imagine literally getting 15 of your friends in the same room and just all smashing each other?
Oh, that'd be insane.
Yeah,
that would be crazy.
That sounds like a lot of fun, honestly.
Especially my group, who just loves to yell the alt voice lines whenever we do.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna have to give that game another shot.
You are. You love superheroes. Come on.
I love superheroes. The community aspect's good. Plus, I love games that you can just pick up and put down easily.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely one of them.
Yeah, I'll give it another shot.
Yeah.
Mine. Let's see. Let me read the question again. What is your go-to LAN party game if you could take any modern game back to the LAN party days? Well, for me, it plays heavily into nostalgia, but it would be any of the my first actual LAN party game. I used to work for Blockbuster, and they had a store-in-store concept called Game Rush, and I was one of the first Game Rush managers.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a midnight event, where basically we're able to open the store at midnight so people could buy their copy of Halo 2. And that was my first ever LAN party game. And it left a very big imprint on me. Even though the quality of the Halo games has gone up and down based on nostalgia only, if you put me in a room with 15 people playing literally any Halo game, that would be a really good night for me.
I think it was last year that Josh introduced me to Halo through Halo Infinite, where we had a community. We had a good week there where everyone was playing a whole lot of Halo Infinite together. And I picked up the Master Chief Collection. I've yet to get to it. But from what I know, it must have been a really good time because how people talk about Halo now compared to what it is now. There's still like so much love in their voices when they talk about it.
Yeah, and it was one of those like genre and generation kind of defining games where the mechanics of it were so much better, so much obviously better than the number 2 competitively, that I mean, it was like just an undeniably fun game. People bought Xboxes just for Halo, and you would feel happy to do it. Now the bars, it's a lot more even. You know, there's a lot of games that would fill that, and so, you know, nostalgia definitely plays disproportionately in that decision for me.
Ah, fair.
We got a couple left here. So Brett asks, I saw John Tassikon, I saw you have a Star Wars Scout Trooper helmet. Do you have any others or collect any other Star Wars trinkets? Yes, I've got a couple of helmets. I actually used to be in this costuming group called the 501st Legion, where it's literally a charity group that dresses up in movie accurate Star Wars outfits and goes to like children's hospitals or benefit events, Alzheimer parades, things like that to help support whatever the cause is. And then if any proceeds are generated, they go towards whatever that cause is.
See, that's freaking sweet. That's an awesome way to combine your love for Star Wars and your love for, you know, giving to charities.
Oh, dude, it was awesome. However, there's a catch to that. So number one, they're expensive, as you could probably guess.
Oh, yeah, I imagine.
Armors, especially movie accurate stuff, it's hard to come by. But the most challenging part is that when I went into it, I figure armor, durable. It turns out there's a reason all these stormtroopers die when you blow on them. The armor is useless. Absolutely useless. Literally the day I got my armor put together, I put on my chest piece, like the breastplate for the Scout Trooper, and it split in half the very first day.
Oh, no.
And then after that, it was just me chasing a series of defects in the armor. It's really...
Oh, man.
Really a labor of love. So yeah, anyway, Star Wars will always have a special place in my heart. I love it. Top down, you know, even the parts I don't love, I love. Even like The Rise of Skywalker, which is one of my least favorite movies of all time. I still love it because it's Star Wars.
Somehow, and I've got Palpatine returned.
Off camera! Off camera! Are you serious? Laziest writing. Oh, God. Bro. Riled me up, man. Terrible. Are you a Star Wars guy?
I am, yeah. I don't watch a lot of the Disney Plus shows or anything like that. My favorite Star Wars movie is actually Rogue One.
Oh, I agree with you there, man.
That is
Rogue
my favorite Star Wars
fantastic
movie, hands down. It is my favorite.
I agree. Hands down, my favorite Star Wars movie, man.
My man.
All right, virtual high five.
Yeah.
Okay, and then lastly, Jigglepuff asks, outside of gaming, what is another hobby you have? If not hobby, special interest?
This one's kind of weird for me because gaming is my hobby. I guess my other hobby is podcasting and recording. But behind me, as you can see, I love collecting things like just silly little figures and statues and things like that. And for the listeners, I have statues of like One Piece characters, like and the mask from Dishonored on my shelf behind me. But you could see it in our video podcast, which you should definitely go check out on YouTube and Spotify.
Great plug, buddy.
Yeah. But I love to have like merchandise from my favorite games and my favorite, TV shows and things like that. And I think it's just a fun little thing I get to do. Even it is expensive, I will say that, but
yeah, and
makes for great background.
It makes for a wonderful background. And, I think if it makes you happy, like that's the main thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What is money if not a, basically fun tickets? You have to do all the important stuff with money 2, obviously, but the leftovers.
That's the fun money. That was the leftover.
Exactly. Yeah, for me, oh my God, I am very happy with the fact that I can turn just about anything into a hobby. Like I have the ability to get really into just about everything. If I had to pick 2 things right now, Ace, like you, I'm a collector. I am a big collector of Warhammer 40,000 action figures. Like I'm still setting up my room here, but I've got like way too many. I've spent a fortune on these things, and every time I get one, I still am like stoked for it. So that I do tabletop wargaming, collect, Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer Age of Sigmar. I love, those are probably my 2 favorite IPs in all of fandom. And I'm also into baking. My wife is an incredibly good baker, and I'll never have the talent she has on the precision sort of decorating side. But the legwork side of like literally just mixing ingredients and doing the scullery work is, I don't know. There's something therapeutic about it, I guess.
Hey, nothing wrong with a man who bakes. I ain't gonna say nothing. I cook, but I don't bake. But
thank you for saying that. Okay, Ace. So these aren't the listener questions are over, and thank you, by the way, everybody on the
thank you very
Discord
much. Thank you so much
for taking a chance to do that. I have 1 or 2 little rapid fire questions for you.
Oh boy! All right.
That we ask: Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat for me. My mom,
really? Okay.
My mom kicked my butt at Street Fighter too much. I could never get the hang of it.
Your mom kicked your butt?
I had a SNES Classic that I picked up from Target the day that they came out, and I took it home and we put on Street Fighter 2, and my mom, who does not play video games, royally kicked my butt several times to the point where like I have sour memories when I think of that game.
Okay, fair enough. So Mortal Kombat by default.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat by default, because me and my uncle were learning how to do the fatalities on one another and we never got it right. But at least we both sucked at that game.
Fair enough. It's Street Fighter for me, by the way.
Oh, really?
I love Mortal
Your mom
Kombat.
didn't kick your butt at it, huh?
No. I do have to give you a shout out here. You went from getting your mom, your butt kicked by your mom at Street Fighter to your butt being kicked at Mortal Kombat from Greg.
Yeah. Greg has taken over the place of my mom in the butt kicking department.
Maybe they could do like a team up or something.
Oh, please no.
Yeah, I guess I'm moving to Soul Calibur now. Let's see. Pasta or bread?
Ooh, pasta or bread? I'm a big bread guy. I really like a garlic bread with cheese and all those herbs on it. Like that's for me. I gotta be honest, I'm not a super big pasta guy. I really like bread.
Really? Man, I love them both, but if I had to choose between noodles and bread, I'm probably choosing noodles.
Really? I just feel like I can't eat that many noodles. I get full on noodles very fast.
I wish I had that problem too. I can literally eat until food is taken away from me, man. I haven't found the depths of my
I have to eat on a schedule because my body doesn't tell me when I'm hungry. That's how my life works.
Yeah. Maybe when you and I get to hang out in person, our appetites will sync up or something. Last question.
Uh-huh.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, my favorite movie of all time? Yeah, you're going to judge me, but it's Saw. I really like the first Saw. I know.
Okay, we've come full circle here.
Now I'm the demented one. Look out, everyone.
Dude, I have to tell you. So I saw the first Saw. I saw Saw in the theater.
You saw Saw?
And I do have to give it to you, man. The ending of that movie where the killer was in the room the whole time, spoiler alert, but it's old. So if you haven't seen it,
and then the track for Hello Zep kicks on. I was like, oh.
Yeah, super good. Super good. For me, it's Watchmen, the Watchmen movie, which was terribly underappreciated. The Zack Snyder one, which came out in the early 2000s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that in my opinion is just such a masterpiece. I watched it again recently with Sarah, my wife, and expecting it to be dated, not hold up. Dude, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah. Well,
I think
Ace,
those are both great
picks.
Else?
Thank you. I think that wraps up our Q&A here.
That did not wrap up their Q&A. Dingbat1 and Dingbat2 forgot a few questions. I'm going to throw them in here for you right now.
Okay, Ace. So Jake asks the all-important question. Who is your favorite character and why is it a tie between Jack Black and Jim Carrey?
The famous question asked in every AMA and mailbag episode of Video Gamers podcast. The funniest thing about that is like both of them have played video game characters at this point too. So now I kind of feel like I have to choose between which video game character I like better. And if I'm doing
that's interesting. You have to choose. So Jim Carrey, obviously the Sonic the Hedgehog
Dr.
movies.
Robotnik.
Yep. And then Jack Black, you have
Steve.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
But you also kind of have Jumanji. I don't know if that counts because
I'm sure there's one we're missing too. The only reason I think I would go with Jack Black is because I really like Nacho Libre.
Oh,
like that's an all-timer. Like,
ooh, that is an all-timer.
Do you have a Jim Carrey counter?
Well, I would just say that Jack Black has one all-timer for me, and Jim Carrey has many all-timers. Like, I love Cable Guy. That's a deep cut for a lot of people, but Ace Ventura 2, hilarious. Dumb and Dumber, obviously. And then also an underappreciated role. Did you ever see Batman Forever?
Yeah, he was the Riddler.
Yeah, I thought he was awesome as the Riddler.
Yeah, he's a great Riddler.
Like,
and he's also a great Grinch.
he's a great Grinch.
The best Grinch we've had ever, I think. And also, did you see Sonic 3?
I didn't. I heard it was great.
Oh my God. Watching him interact with himself, but just like a really old version of himself was the best. I won't spoil anything because it's a fairly new movie, but it has some amazing and hilarious moments that people absolutely need to see.
Okay. Fair. I'm definitely going to be seeing it. The Sonic the Hedgehog story arc of how those movies came to be is like one of my favorite things in Hollywood, just because it would have failed had they not taken listener feedback, and they did, and I'm so happy that exists.
Yeah, it's
and
the
they're
first
good
like
movies,
big
too.
example of that, like taking listener feedback to the point where it changed the whole course of the history of the franchise.
You got it. And then let's see. Brett asks, Ace of Shame, what were your first thoughts when listening to the Video Gamers podcast for the first time?
Well, my first thoughts when listening to this podcast was, hey, it wasn't called the Video Gamers podcast yet. It was called the Multiplayer Gaming Podcast.
Yep.
And my first thoughts were, wow, these guys really hate Sea of Thieves, huh?
That's pretty good.
Because I just remember tuning in. I was like, oh, I want to play Sea of Thieves. I wonder what they thought about it. And they're just like, there's no reward. It gets really repetitive. I was like, oh, okay. I guess I don't want to play Sea of Thieves.
What were you listening to before them?
I was listening to a D&D podcast called Drunks and Dragons.
Oh, nice. Are you a D&D guy?
I am a little bit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't get to play it very often, but like actual like video games like, Divinity and Baldur's Gate are like totally my jam because I really enjoy that kind of role-playing aspect.
Interesting. Yeah, I have been into tabletop and, lots of D&D adjacent type things, but I've never actually played a D&D game. So that'll be something you're going to have to show me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Question wasn't directed for me, but
yeah, go ahead and answer.
Yeah, I came across this podcast initially because I was listening to, like probably everybody else in the world, when I was working out, I was listening to Joe Rogan. And then there was a period of time where it was like literally just political guest after political guest after political guest. And I just got sick of hearing it. And so I go, okay, well, I love Warhammer. Let's see what tabletop gaming podcasts are out there. And there's a few semi-entertaining ones and a few good lore ones, but it wasn't scratching the itch. And so I go, okay, well, video games. And, I typed in video games podcast, and the Video Gamers podcast was the first one to come up. And I go, that looks like what I'm looking for. And I was listening to Paul, Ryan, and Josh at the time. And I just remember going like, man, this is cool, dude. Like, it's so genuine, their love for gaming. It's not phoned in at all. They're not trying to be the experts. Like, this is all coming from a like love of gaming perspective.
Comes from
like
the
they're
heart.
very clearly emotionally invested in what they're doing. And no bureaucracy or anything like that involved. It was just felt so genuine that after a couple episodes, it stuck, and I've probably been listening to them every single day since then.
Yeah, same story, brother. What episode were you listening to? What was your first episode?
Oh gosh.
What was the episode that hooked you?
The episode that hooked me. My gosh, man. It was probably a draft.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one to start with. Any drafts are awesome.
Yeah, I'd have to get back to you on that. I can't remember the exact episode, but when I was looking through it, you look for the title that's going to grab you, and it was probably best something of
that's fair.
2023 or whatever. Yeah. What about you?
The one that hooked me was actually the PUBG one, because I couldn't stop laughing at how much they were trolling their friend. Whenever he'd get on the bike, they'd hit him in the back of the head with the pan. And he's like, I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it again. And he's like, get back up on the bike. Wham!
Love it. That's awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the listeners?
Well, we've already beat it into the ground, but I'm going to say it again. Come and join our Discord if you want to come hang out with us and meet fellow like-minded gamers, because we really want to meet you. We want you to come in there and feel as comfortable as you possibly can be, and join us for our community nights so you can get your butt kicked by Nexivus,
love it.
Our strongest Marvel Rivals player.
And for everybody out there, check out our newly refreshed website at videogamerspod.com. On there, you're going to find links to all of our socials as well as our Patreon, which if you'd love to support the show in a very real way, that goes a long way as an independent pod. And I will ask every single time, but guys, if you have a moment, please follow the show on whatever podcast format you're listening on, whether it's Apple or Spotify or YouTube Music, whatever it is. Please drop us a follow and leave us a review. It goes so far in making sure that this podcast continues to operate as well, and it gives us great feedback to operate on.
Yeah, we're super appreciative of any feedback that we can get.
Yep. And with that, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. And until next time, happy gaming.
Peace out.
Toodaloo.
I had to squeeze it in there, huh?